Chapter 10, The Road Back. Quote, "Don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive, and then go do it, because what the world needs is people who have come alive." End quote, by Howard Thurman. If I could stumble upon the jewel of what it takes to find happiness, or what the one necessary ingredient is to overcome depression, or the one key to becoming your best self, surely this would be worth the time and energy to discover. Perhaps this can be done, but not without context, a solid foundation, and the creation of principles and practices to keep this jewel pure and objective within the vast differences and unique experiences of the human condition. One thing we do know for sure, according to John Ratey's research, quote, "Cognitive decline directly correlates with lack of education, self-efficacy, and exercise," end quote. Now that we know how to avoid decline, what does the path towards growth and purpose entail? Nietzsche's one notable attempt at creating an objective argument for purpose in The Will to Power, although unpublished until after his death, was used as the foundation for the horrific reasoning and goals of Hitler's Nazi Germany. Although an objective and simple answer would be convenient, there needs to be a lot of groundwork, mindset shifts, tools, ideas, practices, and conversations before we can land on that one pure jewel. For the last 10 years of my life, that has been my goal. A journey of reading, playing, testing, writing, and exploring what it takes to find and create sustainable happiness, passion, and purpose. I graduated with a philosophy degree in 2010 and began working at Lululemon Athletica a few weeks later. I changed my mind several times in regards to what I wanted to pursue as a career. I had written the LSAT, and when I got my score back to see that I had a competitive chance of getting into a decent law school, I decided that was not the avenue I wanted to head down. Of course, not without several days and nights of ruminating and getting stuck in the rabbit hole of, what if I make the wrong choice? Working at Lululemon seemed like a good idea for the time being. The culture, the clothes, the people, the energy, and the community it brought into my life was a gift. Although I grew tired of the retail side of the business, I was in love with everything else this culture offered. I gained more fuel for my self-study as I had daily experiences to practice what I had learned and continued to explore psychology, philosophy, neuroscience, sociology, and leadership in my free time. My first attempt at group facilitation was at the Lululemon at Kingsway Mall in Edmonton, only a few months into my employment. There was a struggle between the management team and the educators, aka the sales staff. The managers were getting a sense of retaliation and negative attitudes from their staff, while the staff was feeling micromanaged and belittled. It was unclear where this had started, but it was getting steadily worse as days went on. I had noticed this power struggle for a couple weeks and offered to lead a session in our next staff meeting to address the issue. I had recently discovered The Belief Cycle in a coaching book by Thomas Crane during the copious amounts of reading I was doing on my own time. To summarize briefly, the belief cycle is a cyclical diagram that shows how our beliefs are at the root of how we feel, behave, and show up in the world and in relationships. The results we get then reinforce our beliefs. To change the results, we need to start with our beliefs. I found this concept to be fascinating for many reasons, and since then I have adapted and added depth to this cycle so that I can use it in a powerful way with clients. I prepared a 20-minute presentation for the staff meeting, and I remember being nervous but utterly excited by the possibility of creating change within our broken system. I remember standing up in front of our staff of about 30 people. All eyes on me, I saw smiles begin to form on their faces as I explained the paradox of the staff feeling micromanaged and untrusted, and how that reinforces the behavior that is causing management to micromanage. I guided everyone into this place of understanding the issues behind the issues, and from there we could recommit to starting fresh with an action plan to rebuild these relationships that had become toxic. The applause and hugs that I received after this short facilitation filled me with a sense of accomplishment, and a fire was lit in my heart. I had found a service that I could provide that felt like my calling. After my experience facilitating at my Lululemon staff meeting, I continued to look for creative ways to practice this skill and explore different ways to support the team and the individuals. I developed my ability to perform goal coaching sessions and was lucky to have access and support in facilitating over 100 sessions in groups and with individuals during my time with this company. After a couple of years, I began to reach out to small businesses, sports teams, book clubs, and friends to offer my services to anyone who was curious to bring me in. I learned so much simply by being excited by the process of learning and growing through experience. I stayed with Lululemon for almost 6 years. The support system and personal development was invaluable. I learned what it meant to live with integrity, grounded in my core values, how to create and host events, how to engage in and mediate difficult conversations, how to create and sustain a culture, how to enroll a group of people into an idea, how to connect with a different stranger every minute, and how to give and receive feedback with grace and love. Since then, I have spent countless hours reading and exploring the belief cycle and a few other similar models that approach limiting beliefs from different angles. More specifically, I have learned how to identify and let go of limiting beliefs. This is the ability to notice where there is stagnation or lack of balance and retrain my thoughts to believe in myself and make the hard changes needed for growth and happiness. We are creatures of habit. Change is hard. But when you have the tools and the toolbox, change isn't so daunting anymore. Tony Robbins refers to our young programming as our blueprint for life. Your blueprint is your built-in triggers, assumptions, guidelines, and rules that create the lens you perceive life through. When you think about it, your limited life experience is one tiny possibility within the plethora of possible experiences and outcomes that could have happened. We are each a unique suppository of beliefs, ideas, experiences, traumas, relationships, and DNA, creating a perception of life viewed through our own lens. Of course, some things in life appear to be objective and have been scientifically proven for now. For example, the world is round, gravity pulls us towards the Earth's core, our body has a natural healing ability when in a state of calm, and our biology urges us to procreate, to live in tribes, and to move and connect, just to name a few. But what about the subjective beliefs and ideas that are too often taken as facts? Is there a right or wrong way to live? Is there a religion that is more right than all the others? Is there a higher purpose and meaning to life? What does a successful life look like? For most of us, we have a rehearsed elevator pitch when it comes to these questions, simply as a result of a few conversations and a lot of repetition.